people who don't know the difference between a tax cut and a subsidy. And gentlemen, this is a response to Stimulating Appliances, aka The Stimulus is Working by Loser Caca Video. Excuse me, I mean FKASG9SSM OU812. FKA says the stimulus is working several times in his video. We beg to differ. He again uses a subjective story. A similar story from his Healthcare Reform Americans in London video, which we've reviewed before and is curiously a private video now. I wonder why. Where he talked about an imaginary friend going on an imaginary trip to London and getting emergency care. Now he's blathering about an imaginary appliance salesman and acting as if polling one person indicates the stimulus is working. Let's look at these stats first. FKA, little man. There were just over 11 million people looking for full-time work in February 2009 when the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, hereafter the stimulus, was signed. In August 2009, it was almost 13.2 million. In April 2010, it was over 13.3 million. The unemployment rate was 8.2% when the stimulus was signed, February 2009. It had increased to 9.7% by August 2009. And in April of this year, it was 9.9%. We have now had 12 consecutive months of unemployment above 9% when Hussein Obama and his administration said unemployment would stay at 8.2% if the stimulus was passed. It didn't happen. Black unemployment was 13.5% in February 2009. It was 15.2% in August 2009. And now, April 2010, it's 16.5%. So no matter how you play it, Biden talking out of both sides of his mouth, I documented that in another video saying, oh, it was a short-term stimulus. Oh no, it would have long-term effects. Either way, you lose. And FKA had no facts in her video, his video, whatever it is over there. And that's no surprise. It's par for the course. We have a real survey conducted by the National Association for Business Economics. A real survey asking real people. In its latest survey, the index that measures unemployment showed job growth for the first time in 2 years, but a majority of respondents felt the fiscal stimulus had no impact. NABE conducted the study by polling 68 of its members who work in economic roles at private sector firms. About 73% of those surveyed said employment at their company is neither higher nor lower as a result of the now over $800 billion Recovery Act. Cash for Caulkers, another facet of the stimulus, hasn't fared well either. This from February 2010. A $5 billion federal weatherization program intended to save energy and create jobs has done little of either, according to a new report obtained by ABC News on the one-year anniversary of Hussein's stimulus. Only 9,100 homes have been weatherized nationwide as of December 31st, according to the new report by the GAO, to be released Thursday. This was back in February, of course. The Department of Energy, which runs the program, said it actually weatherized more than 22,000 homes last year with Recovery Act funds. Either way, it's a far cry from the 593,000 that the government plans to complete during the course of the Recovery Act, which runs through March 2012. They better get moving. This from March 2010. After a year of crippling delays, Hussein's $5 billion program to install weather-tight windows and doors has retrofitted a fraction of homes and created far fewer construction jobs than expected. In Indiana, state-trained workers flubbed installation jobs. In Alaska, Wyoming, and the District of Columbia, the program has yet to produce a single job or retrofit one home. And in California, a state with nearly 37 million residents, the program, at last count, has created 84 jobs. Woo! And with taxpayer funds, too. After a year, the stimulus program has retrofitted 30,250 homes, about 5% of the overall goal, and fallen well short of the 87,000 jobs that the department planned, according to latest available figures. And of course, any of those jobs created using taxpayer funds, you either have to tax that out of the economy from Peter's pocket, or you have to borrow it, or you just print it, so there's no wealth being created. Ergo, the GDP growth is up, but it's all using Peter's money to do it. And when you take Peter's money and put it in Paul's wallet, you're going to have a lot of voters named Paul. Here's a short list of some wasted stimulus funds in North Carolina. Study of monkeys using cocaine. $71,623. Wake Forest University was granted money to study the effects of self-administering cocaine on the glutamate system of monkeys. North Carolina Dance Theater got 50 grand so they could retain 4 professional dancers. Yeah. And reducing hot flashes through yoga. FKA, you might want to take a look at this one. Or have your wife, or whatever you are. Reducing hot flashes through yoga. $147,694. Funds granted to Wake Forest University to study preliminary data on the yoga reducing menopausal hot flashes. Okay. This is quite humorous and ridiculous at the same time. Let's see. They wasted $115,000 collecting, researching, and reporting on the Stimulus Act. Nearly $500,000 taxpayer dollars will go towards funding more propaganda selling the benefits of the stimulus plan. Oh, and then there's a grant for interactive dance performance technology to UNC Charlotte. That's over $762,000. $50,000 go to the American Dance Festival. A graphic designer and archivist, will retain their jobs thanks to this grant. Construction of a new town hall in Blandonboro. $200,000. And the North Carolina Folklife Institute gets 25 grand. The help of this grant, they'll be able to retain their executive director. Great. North Carolina State University insect collection, $253,000 for them. So, and it goes on and on. If you guys like me to do more videos, I've got a laundry list of stuff in the Stimulus Act that was used on ridiculous things like these. Like, if we didn't study the effects of cocaine on monkeys, the world might explode. Lastly, FKA mentions the EPA Energy Star program at the 1 minute 10 second mark of his video, saying his dishwasher was Energy Star rated. Well, those who are interested can consult as a previous response to him, FKASG9SSM whines about attorney generals using taxpayer funds to sue universal health care video. In that video, I went over the Government Accountability Office was able to pass off 15 phony 15 phony products through the EPA's Energy Star program. One was a gasoline-powered alarm clock, so I wouldn't be talking up the EPA's Energy Star program, FKA. And lastly, at a gasoline-powered alarm clock, that's hilarious. At the 2:30 mark, 2 minute 30 second mark, he says, 95% of working families in America received a tax cut under President Obama. 95% of working families. FKA, I have the income tax brackets in front of me, and I'll link to them in the video details. Tell everyone what income tax brackets Obama and his Congress actually reduced last year or this year. It's apparent you don't know the difference between a subsidy and an actual tax cut. As for your musings on healthcare, I will direct everyone to the second link on the left side of my channel, or my Healthcare Reform Americans in London response to McCain is through video, where we corrected several erroneous statements made by FKA and one of her friends, loser McCain is through. So again, folks, when you see a video by FKA,